possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. The very first isekai that I will be reviewing on this channel. And just to give you a general explanation of my feelings about isekais, I feel the same way about any other genre. I sometimes some anime genres I gravitate to more than others, but I don't hate isekais. We have look in every genre we're going to have bad slop in every single genre. I can tell you the numbers of romance, action, fantasy, sci-fi that I tried to watch, but they were so bad and boring that I just obviously didn't even finish episode 1. But for some reason, people just like to, many, not everybody obviously, but many people just like to just dump on the isekai genre. We have had fantastic isekai. Overlord, reincarnated as a slime. I'm a spider, so what? Let me see if there's any. Well, you know what I mean. We just like any other genre, there's good and there's the bad. So those are my general feelings of this isekai genre. Now, if when it comes to this one, sadly this one is a generic isekai anime. Generic in every single way. There's absolutely nothing that this one does that exceed or maybe subvert your expectations. Nothing. This is just your run of the mill isekai. It's not trash. It's not like awful. I think that the what hold at least some of the only way that I survive watching this one is because honestly I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it was the characters, the interactions. Maybe I just wanted to see where the story goes. But it's just generic. That's the way. It's a generic isekai that doesn't do anything different or better or just nothing generic. Now, let me just give you a little bit of synopsis of the story. We have your typical. To be fair, it wasn't Truck-kun, and it wasn't oh the goddess made a mistake. You got caught in the crossfire. You die. Okay, let me make it up to you by transporting you to this other world. No, the goddess wasn't involved in any of this whole fiasco. Apparently, a kingdom who is practically the evil kingdom of the story did a hero summoning, and apparently the goddess forbade or yes let's use that word forbade people or anybody to do the hero summoning, but that certain evil kingdom circumvent and did a ritual to be able to summon the three heroes. Now, the sadly our main character, let me see, look up the name. Our main character, Irma, he got caught in the crossfire, but the goddess was so enraged that that kingdom pulled that type of stunt behind her back that she like, let me put extra security, let me put every single lock, chains, everything airtight, so no kingdom, no individual will ever do this the ritual again. But sadly, it was so airtight the security that even though our main character got caught in the crossfire, she cannot send him back because of what she implemented. So she did the typical thing, reincarnated in another world. But here's, I won't say twist because, like I said, nothing original. I'm a spider, so what? Did the same thing. Well, she reincarnated him into this new world, but he did it 1 year. When she played with time space continuum and isekai him 1 year earlier, compared to the other three other Japanese students that were technically at the same time, but she, like I said, she did something with the time space time continuum to make him isekai 1 year earlier compared to the other three. So he just was wondering out. He didn't want it to be a warrior. He didn't want it to be a swordsman, even though that he did acquire those skills. No, he wanted to be an alchemist. And even though that he practically anything that has to do with support. No, support. Let me look at the word. Just uh, jobs that have to do with carpenting, blacksmith, just alchemist, apothecary, making potions. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing the word right. Practically much he just want to create stuff. He doesn't want to fight. So he goes leveling up his skills. I'm not going to give you every single episode case by case. I'm just going to move on. And he stumbled up. He makes connection with a merchant that give him a sweet deal to a house. And yes, him being a merchant, say you can live here, a very good rent, and any items or stuff, merchandise, whatever you create, well, I have first dibs. And that was mostly the relationship. Later on, he saw that he needs security, help around the house, and even help with his alchemy. So he gets slaves. Now, when you hear the word slaves, you're thinking, oh, people that were stripped of all their freedom. They have no rights. They're even worse than a dog when being treated. No. In this world, at least in this kingdom, because obviously every kingdom is different, but in this kingdom, slaves do have rights. And what I mean rights, it means that practically they can choose who their master is, and there's like a contract that they are not allowed to make the slaves do something that is outside the contract. Like if I go to a slave trader and I want a slave to do the cooking and cleaning around the house, I cannot just go to that same slave and say, hey, I want to do nighttime activities. You know what I mean? Or oh, I want you to steal this item or use you, or oh, I contracted you as like I said, a maid, but I want you to come to me and fight with me in a dungeon to help me out. No, if she doesn't want to, because it's not specified in the contract, she doesn't have to. Slaves do have rights in this kingdom, at least. So but honestly, the main character, we all these slave taming beasts that evolve and to be little girl lolly, but even there's something that happened 2 times over the 12th episode of this anime. First, he had 2 slaves. Fine. Then they say, hey, you need help creating in your alchemy work. I want you to. I suggest one of these slaves, hey, get another slave. And he said, well, okay, I'm gonna get another slave. And for some reason, the two slaves that he had already contracted with insist that that other slave have to be a girl. And I don't know why. I let it go the first time. But later on, when they say, hey, I want you to get this other, I don't remember, other slave, they also did the same thing. They say it has to be a girl, and I like, do what's the do they want him to have a harem? Is this something like, or are they uncomfortable with other men? I don't know. They during the 12th episode, the main character nor the other slave girls, none of them brought it up. Like, why are you insisting that every time that I'm going to get a slave or another companion to add to the party, why do you insist that it has to be a girl? Normally, it's the main character, the guy, that says, "Oh, another girl. I get myself a harem, edgy, or something like that, or some perverted. You know what I mean." But for some reason, it wasn't the main character. It was the girls that were insisting that every time they're going to have somebody along with the party, it has to be a girl. And I don't know, it's something that they cut off from the novel, because this is a novel adaptation, but it just let me confused. Now, during the anime, it goes character interacting with one another, and during the 12 episodes, they do reach the 1 year conclusion where the other three heroes finally, it's their time in the anime, that where they are summoned. Now, out of the three heroes, one are two boys and one girl. The girl is suspicious. She doesn't trust them at all. Anytime they talk to them, she's just immediately thinking liars. When 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 they bring food to her, she uses this spell, light magic, to dispel or purify the meal or any drinks that they bring her, because that's just how she doesn't trust that kingdom evil. And obviously, now, sadly, the other two Japanese that were summoned, those two weren't as much as lucky. Those two were, in the span of 3 months, their personality completely different. They been killing, beating in swordsmanship practice their fellow knights in training, being womanizers, threatening other people, thinking, we're heroes, give us what we want, this type of thing. And the main character and the group think in 3 months their personality changing that much. Maybe they did some brainwashing, put stuff in the food or something. Maybe it was the pressure that the instructors were giving them. I don't know. And mostly around that part is where the story, the 12th episode of this anime ended. Now, are they going to do a second season? Honestly, I don't know. The story was okay. The mostly what held it to me were the interaction and the characters. Now, are they unique in any way? No, but at least I wasn't sleeping or falling off of the chair trying to watch this. So at least there's that. But I think that what was worse about this anime was the fighting animation. The fighting animation in this anime was god awful. They any shortcut, any way to fool the viewers to thinking there's animation where there's really not, they're going to take it. In this box, in this image that I'm going to put right now, imagine that exact image, but shaky cam, and putting a sound effect like ching 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 around that image, and that's the whole fighting animation. Now, is every single fighting animation that? No, that's just the grand majority. The other half of the other half of the fighting animation is just them showing the conclusion of the battle. Like, oh, we're moving to this other thing, other, they to take, cut to black, move to the other scene, and it's just him with the sword in his hand and the corpse of the monster disintegrating, just showing the conclusion of the battle, not showing the battle itself. Now, I would say that the whole shaking cam sound animation was like 70% of the fighting animation. The other 20 were, like I said, showing not the battle but the conclusion of the battle, and the other 10% as amateurish as it was shown, and very amateurish YouTubers, animators do better job than that. But there was at least some movement showing when they were fighting. God awful, especially the dragon one. Seriously, the dragon is, as an example with the movement. The dragon, he's going to do a fire breath. He's going to fire. The main character takes the sword and throw it at the mouth. It just was awful. If you give this one the chance, just know that you're not going to have even bottom tier animation when it comes to the fighting. Mostly is more, even the comedy is not, like I said, comedy is subjective, but just know that even the comedy was just it was just okay. None of them make me laugh. And oh, and one other thing that I'm going to say, even though that he has a harem, and he does acknowledge that each and every one of them are very beautiful, my dude is a wimp. He doesn't do anything. By the end of the 12th episode, out of the ending of the season, they weren't, I think yes, they're closer in form of, they're more of a team. Yes, as a team they're closer, but as individual, just know that there's no edginess, there's no romance. That it was also in the romance department or edgy department, if that's what you're into. It was also disappointing. It was just, it almost felt in some ways like platonic, in some ways like he does like I said, he does recognize that they're beautiful, but he's just so enamored, concentrated in doing his alchemy thing, creating creation after creation after creation, that he's like, nah, he doesn't stop to smell the roses or to appreciate that, hey, I have a harem. He's just my, it's just something that bugs me personally, when you have a main character that has a lot of beautiful women, and he could get with each and any one of them, but either he just doesn't realize, or he's just a wimp and doesn't want to ruin the relationship. That's something that years and years ago that I have been frustrated with main characters. Now, my overall review with this generic anime, with the fighting animation being awful, bottom tier, no romance, no edgy, the story not doesn't do anything new, unique, different, or exceeds other previous works, I'm going to give this one a 3. A 3 out of 10. Honestly, I don't recommend this one. And honestly, I don't even know, with the way the first season, or the lack of enthusiasm that I saw on the internet, I don't even know if this is going to have season two. So and even in the first season, the even ended in a satisfying way, so that you will feel, oh, there's not a second season. Okay, the first season was conclusive enough. No, it left in the first season left a lot of things open, so it doesn't even have that. So I don't recommend this one, guys. So I'm going to end it here now. Have a good day, have a good night from wherever you're from, and see you next video.